What's up? Sorry, I had to unmute my mic there. I'm going to take you through a trade. I only took one trade this week. Last week, I started it prior Friday and then closed it, I'm pretty sure, on Monday. Let me take you through the process. I was by a short. Basically, looking at the weekly on Microsoft, this is kind of a rounding top here. You can see that the lines here, let me hide my drawings. 200 SMA on the daily, 50 SMA, okay, daily again. The white line is the 20 and the blue line is 20 the white line is the 10, the blue line is the 20 EMAs, okay? All of this stuff is pointing down. Keeping it real simple, when that stuff happens, the path of least resistance is downwards. And so that's how I'm looking at it. If we look at the daily chart, we can see that this is nice, rounding top. This is an area, let me unhide this, let it load. Don't know why that's loading. I know for a fact I was watching this here to hold, right? And you can see that it broke this level and then it kind of bear flagged here. So we can do a little bear flag. Broke down, created a lower low, bounced, created a lower high versus here, and made a lower low. So on Friday, April 4th, the market, from what I remember, was under a lot of pressure. Let me double check this. And there were a lot of things selling off. However, Microsoft, where's the 4th? Yeah, here it is. Look, so it opened up at 523. The high was 525 and it closed at 505. So it opened here and then had a little push. Where'd it go? There's a 4th here. Here's a 4th. Open, had a little push up, and then just did nothing but sold off. So the market was under a lot of pressure. However, Microsoft, if you look on the shorter time frame chart, it was not succumbing to that pressure yet. However, it did make a lower low. It did also break this low. So what I did is I had a thought, it made a lower low. This could be initial short covering, creating a little bounce. It's showing relative strength, but the market was heavy in general. So the odds of that continuing through were not in the long side's favor. So basically what I was looking for is for an entry point somewhere around here and an intraday, some sort of signal intraday to tell me that, hey, a short might be ready, because what I was looking for again is a lower high to be made. And that lower high, I was versing it off of this lower high versus that lower high right here, right? So on the shorter minute time frame. Even if we go back to the 65-minute, lower high. So I was risking it against this 377.49, 377.50 high. My stop was at 378. Okay, so on the intraday, 10-minute here, let it load. I was watching. I think I just so happened to. I was at work for sure. Topping tails in. And so I was like, you know what, this might be a decent area for to take a short position, because the market was heavy and this nice topping tail provided a decent idea of, like, you know what, it's hitting supply here. This might be the highest it goes versus this high. So I entered a short here. Yes, I did enter a short over the VWAP. It's a risk that I took. Ideally, I would have entered underneath here, like when it failed this VWAP. But either way, it worked. So I entered here at 370.94, stop loss at 378, and you can see that it continued and it eventually succumbed. I don't know. It eventually followed the market down. Okay. The next morning had a beautiful gap down. Unfortunately, was not unfortunate, but I was with some patience. And so I I can't be on my phone first thing in the morning when the market is open unless I have a cancellation or something like that. So it simply just didn't work out. And I hopped on my phone and I saw it. Market had a pretty solid bounce for the morning at the gap down and just got bought up. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go have a solid trade from 370 to at its lows 345. And then let that get back on me and number one, go negative on a very green trade, and number two, just not get anything out of it. So I decided to close everything out. I think it was at 364.84, 366.84. I think that's what it was. So very small win. Unfortunate, I didn't get out here, but either way, what ended up happening, as you could see, if I held, I could have had another opportunity to get out here again. Eventually it took out these highs. Now what's happening is it's staying above the 20 and 10 EMA, but it's hitting the 50 SMA, which it was rejected here before. So I would be curious if this is another short opportunity. I don't know though. I don't know, but that's how I played it short term over the weekend short. Unfortunately did not capitalize on my exit. But is what it is. Didn't lose money, didn't get blown out. Can't be too greedy in this type of stuff. Hopefully that helps. Questions, comments, concerns, ideas, other thoughts, let me know later. Trade safe.